What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. This is our Friday, really, because this is our last stream of the week. I hope everyone is well. I hope everybody is rocking out. Thirsty Thursday. Get some, right? Let me just make sure. Okay, YouTube's up. Good. The YouTube is up. Always like to make sure the YouTube's up. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be where you're at. Good morrow. Hey, if you're in Australia, it's like the next day where you're at. Happy next day. What's the future like? How's everything going? You feeling good? You feeling confident? Man, Iowa has been on my mind all week, which is, never a sentence I thought I'd say, really. I mean, when would I ever say that sentence? No offense to Iowa. I'm sure it's a fine place, but, I've been there. It is a fine place, but I never thought I'd say, "Oh, Iowa's been on my mind all week." Why would I do that? I don't know if anyone says that. I don't even know if people who live in Iowa think that. Like, yeah, we live. We don't think about it all week. I mean, this is just what we do. It's not like we're thinking about it all week. We get it. This isn't Paris. This isn't necessarily utopia. The coast is a far way in either direction. We get that. We don't dwell on it. You know what I mean? But we've been thinking about it too. We've been thinking about it a lot. People are thinking about it a lot. And here's how I woke up this morning. Here's how we all woke up this morning or this afternoon or what's on our mind this evening, whatever your situation may be. Here's what I saw. I saw this new 90. This is from the Des Moines Register. 96.9% of the Iowa caucus results have been reported. Pete Buttigieg leads Bernie Sanders in state delegate equivalents by just 0.1%. This means that Bernie Sanders catching up to Pete Buttigieg as far as the delegate lead is concerned. Now, keep in mind, the overall vote, Bernie got the most. Bernie got the most votes, but when you get the delegate equivalent, Buttigieg is slightly ahead because they don't weigh things totally evenly. Because, if they did, we'd have an actual democracy. Why should we have an actual democracy? Why would we do that? It's awesome. Yeah. So these are what the numbers are looking like. And as more numbers are coming in, they're coming in from more Bernie heavy districts. And it looks like Bernie was the clear winner. That's why Bernie won Iowa is trending on Twitter. So that's what's happening right now as they're finally getting these results in. Finally. They've been dragging their feet for a while. We had this app malfunction that Pete Buttigieg gave a bunch of money to. And by the way, a ton of people are not aware of any of this stuff because the media is not reporting this thoroughly. The corporate media is not telling these stories thoroughly. A lot of people don't know that Pete Buttigieg gave over $40,000 to this app, that the person who is a higher up in acronym, which Shadow Inc., the organization that developed this app, is under their umbrella, that person is married to a senior strategist for the Pete Buttigieg campaign. Pete Buttigieg pumped over $40,000 into this app randomly. No other candidate even came close to that. Joe Biden gave like $1,500 or something like that. But randomly, Pete Buttigieg gave over $40,000. They said it was for text messaging services. And all of a sudden, Buttigieg is really crushing it in Iowa, and this app malfunctions. Nothing suspicious here. Oh, and of course, there's a bunch of Clinton and Obama regulars going in and out that are intertwined in all this. And let's just look at it big picture. Why are we allowing a private company to orchestrate things when it comes to our democracy? Why are we doing that? Why don't we have public transparency in our elections? Why don't we have it hand counted in public? Why don't we do that? Well, because then it would actually be a fair and honest process. It'd be an open process. We don't want that. A lot of people aren't aware of any of this stuff because the corporate media, they're just trying to paint it like, oh, an app malfunction and now we don't know what's going on. And this is actually unfair to Pete Buttigieg. It's unreal. So that's what we woke up to this morning. The numbers are coming in. Looks like Bernie got this thing. Well, there's another way. There's another way the powers that be can try to fight this thing by just scrapping the whole thing. And that's what Tom Perez, DNC chair Tom Perez, is going after. Check this out. So here's something interesting. Let's read the tweet first, and then I'll explain something to y'all. Enough is enough. Tom Perez tweeted this about an hour ago as of the recording of this, or as of us being live, excuse me. Enough is enough. In light of the problems that have emerged in the implementation of the delegate selection plan in order to assure public confidence in the results, I'm calling on the Iowa Democratic Party to immediately begin a recanvass. So he's just saying, man, this got so messed up. We need a recanvass. Let's just recanvass and everyone hold tight while we're going through that. I responded, sir, this is an office max, but you should resign. Now, why did I show you guys my tweet instead of just Tom Perez's tweet? Well, this is an interesting Twitter thing here. I wanted you guys to see the ratio. If this is hard for you to see, I'll point it out to you. There are 15.1 thousand comments and replies on this, and most of them aren't really flattering. Now, here's the reason why I showed you my tweet, because if I went straight to his Twitter, you can't see the replies. You see that? It only shows you the retweets and the likes. It doesn't show you the replies. So that's why I wanted to show you. So here you go, though. As you know, there are 15,000 of them. I showed you that by going from my tweet and showing you that way versus his tweet. But look at some of these. There's Humanist Report. Shout out to Mikey Figueredo. Resign now. Amen. And the DNC, time for them to be chunked into the dumpster fires. That's Jeffrey Hyde. Scotland, wow, anything to stop Bernie. Let's see. Resign, you right-wing hack, says Steve. What's up, Steve? Let's see. I'm calling for a recount. And then they show a stormtrooper. All right, cool. So there you go. Most of the responses, not super friendly. Not super in Tom Perez's camp. Interesting ratio there. So that's what Tom Perez is calling for now. Here's an article that kind of goes through that. Let's take a look at this now. DNC chair calls for Iowa to recanvass caucus vote, says enough is enough. Democratic National Committee Chair Tom Perez is calling on Iowa Democratic officials to immediately recanvass Monday's caucus vote after days of uncertainty and growing concerns about inconsistencies found in the data. Enough is enough, Perez said in a tweet. In light of the problems that have emerged in the implementation of the delegate selection plan, and in order to assure public confidence in the results, I'm calling on the Iowa Democratic Party to immediately begin a recanvass. A recanvass is essentially a double checking of the vote. Iowa officials would have to hand audit the caucus worksheets and reporting forms to ensure they were correctly calculated and reported. In a statement released later on Thursday, Iowa Democratic Party Chair Troy Price did not address the request from Perez and instead said the party would take on a recanvass if any of the presidential campaigns request it. Wow. We owe it to the thousands of Iowa Democratic volunteers and caucus goers to remain focused on collecting and reviewing incoming results. This is what Price is saying, noting that officials identified inconsistencies in the data and used our redundant paper records to promptly correct those errors. This is an ongoing process. And what they say here is, as of Thursday morning, former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg was clinging to the narrowest of leads in Iowa over Bernie Sanders. Now, that's the lead in the state delegate equivalent. It's not the lead in the popular vote because Bernie Sanders overall has the most support. And no one's disputing that. So what is a recanvass exactly, you ask? Well, shout out to my editor, Joe, for sharing this reference for us to revisit. Now, this article is actually from 2015, but it answers our question. So it's a nice little reference for us to jump to here. A recanvass isn't the same as a recount. A recanvass is essentially a review of the vote totals in each county. County clerks will review the absentee votes and check on the printouts. To make sure the numbers were correct when they transmitted to the State Board of Elections. So it's basically a review of the totals. It's not a straight up recount. It's not like they're starting from scratch. A recanvass is essentially just a review. They're going to go back over everything. They're kind of going to double check. But this is just drawing this out even longer. This is just delaying declaring Bernie the winner or totally finishing. They're at about 97% right now. It's tilting in Bernie's favor big time right now. So they know that. So now they're saying, okay, we got to just refocus here. We got to just double check. We got to just do it again. And while we're double checking, who knows, a certain count might go somewhere else. Because it's interesting that they want to double check things when they got caught red-handed trying to cheat already and had to realign. Keep in mind, yesterday, they randomly gave 7% to Deval Patrick. If you recall, they randomly gave 7% to Deval Patrick in Iowa. Deval Patrick doesn't even know that he is running for president. Deval Patrick wouldn't even vote for Deval Patrick. No one even knew that guy was running. Like it was like one of those things you'd occasionally see him on like a list where they would like list pretty much everyone. And he'd be there. And you're like, oh, that guy? Who is that? He's totally random. A lot of people that have been following the election daily don't even know who he is. I've only heard his name a couple times. That guy randomly out of nowhere got 7% in a district that was otherwise fairly Bernie heavy. When they recalculated that stuff, they were like, oh, wait, those votes were actually for Bernie. Easy mistake. I'm sure it's just a clerical error. Like, oh, were these guys voting for the person who's the clear front runner, or this random person that they've likely never even heard of? They were trying to make it out like Deval Patrick got more of the vote than Andrew Yang did. Really? Yang was at every debate. Yang has built a huge grassroots movement. He's got a decent following. Deval Patrick beat out Andrew Yang. Really? Really? Come on. And then when they were double checked on that, well, all of a sudden that changed. And this is why we need to watch in real time. And this is why we need to pay attention. And this is why it's, thank goodness, for people like Savage Joy, for people like Fiorella Isabel, for people like Tina Desiree. And I know there's a ton of other people, for people like Jordan Chariton. Thank goodness for the boots on the ground, literally the boots on the ground in Iowa, who were there with their cameras filming a corrupt coin toss where that guy was clearly trying to cheat for Pete Buttigieg. Thank goodness that people are checking these. Thank goodness the Bernie campaign sent people from their campaign to double check everything, because they are actively trying to cheat. And people say like, oh, well, we gotta, what are we gonna do? It's yellow vest time. It's yellow vest time either way. I hope that Bernie gets through this. And I hope that the movement is so big that they can't stop him, that they can't cheat him, because we're two on it. And he wins. And he goes on to beat Trump. I want that to happen. Whether it does or doesn't, it's still yellow vest time no matter what. Because obviously, if it doesn't and they cheat Bernie again and they throw someone up there who loses to Trump, well, we're in a whole heap of trouble. If he does win, and then we just go to sleep because we're like, hey, Bernie Sanders, he's a good dude. He's president now. Not a lot's going to happen. Because Bernie Sanders, if he is president, will be working against the corporate media. He will be working against the military-industrial complex. He will be working against Congress and the Senate. He will be working against all those things. He will only be as effective of a president as the movement that is behind him is. That's just how it will work. So it's yellow vest time no matter what. It's time for a real movement no matter what. And a real movement takes a lot of factors. It takes getting out in the streets. It takes protests. It takes content creation. It takes reporters on the ground. It takes documentation. It takes films. It takes television. It takes music. It takes movies. I already said that with film. It takes content. It takes dancing. It takes DJs. A movement needs all those things. This is what Emma Goldman taught us a long, long time ago. Emma Goldman taught us these things a long time ago. It takes comedians. It takes speakers. It takes cause-based initiatives. It takes local coalitions. It takes all those things. So there are plenty of lanes for everyone to pick from. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of us. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of us. So that's just another way they're trying to cheat Bernie. That's another way. We just got to... People don't have any confidence. Tom Perez, people don't have any confidence in the DNC because of you and your ilk. Because you cheated in 2016 and you're trying to do the same thing again. So that's just another way. Oh yeah, we need to recanvass. We need to totally double check everything. And hey, when we're double checking everything, maybe Patrick Duvall did even better than we realize. Maybe Patrick Duvall, maybe we're not giving him a fair shake. This is happening in real time. This is happening in real time, folks. All right. So here's something else. Now, we've been talking about California and how there are definitely things to be worried about in California. We're seeing this happen in Iowa. California's coming up on Super Tuesday. There's a lot of things to be wary of in California. We're going to go to this article. My buddy Lee Camp wrote this, and he gives a nice, humorous summary of what we got to look out for in California. This is by Lee Camp. Shout out to Lee Camp, and check out his show, Redacted Tonight, of course. They're going to try to steal California from Sanders again. After watching Iowa de-evolve into chaos like a car crash in slow motion, I regret to inform you, California will be stolen from Bernie Sanders. California is one of the biggest prizes, 495 delegates up for grabs. And Bernie's at the top of those polls. So how are they going to pull this off in California? Lee summarizes some nice points here. Well, I guess one thing would be to make it really hard for a person to vote if he isn't a full-on bread-and-butter Joe Biden-loving Democrat who owns a T-shirt featuring Barack Obama riding on a dinosaur. Candidates like Bernie Sanders attract a lot of voters who are outside the two corrupt Wall Street parties. In fact, 45% of Americans consider themselves independent, while only 27% call themselves Democrats and Republican. So if you're an independent in California, when you register to vote, some of you probably checked the box that said American Independent Party. There's only one problem. The American Independent Party is a borderline neo-Nazi group. It's the name of a group that opposes gay marriage, hates immigrants, and apparently hates women because the last line of its manifesto, of course it has a manifesto, actually states, in consequence whereof we call upon all men who value their God-given liberty to join us in pursuit of these political convictions. Wow, okay. Can I also add that I strongly believe one can't just follow racist, sexist crap with the antiquated phrase in consequence thereof, says Lee. Okay. So do you think a lot of independents in California accidentally sign up for the bigotry party? Yes, they do. A Los Angeles Times investigation has found that a majority of the American Independent Party's members have registered with the party in error. Nearly 3 out of 4 people did not realize they had joined the party. It's amazing that we can't get a viable alternative to the two Wall Street parties, but stuff like this happens, Therefore, California should be forewarned that if they want to vote for someone outside of the centrist, say Bernie Sanders, they needed to change their party affiliation to either Democrat or no party preference. Now here it gets even worse. So if you have no party preference, here's what they do. They give you a ballot with no presidential choices on it. Because that's what California does. California, they're a, quote, open primary state until they say they're not. That is literally the way it works in California. They're an open primary state, but they can randomly decide at any given election that they're not going to be. So if you are a no party preference registered voter and you want to vote for Bernie Sanders, you have to ask for a Democratic ballot. You have to do that. But here's the problem. So Lee breaks this down. We're just going to read this. So this is from journalist Greg Palast, who does amazing work. Check out Greg Palast's stuff if you want to. If an MPP voter asks the poll worker, how do I get to vote in the Democratic Party primary? The poll workers are instructed to say that NPP voters can't get Democratic ballots. The poll workers are not lying, kinda. NPP voters can't get Democratic ballots, but they can get Democratic crossover ballots, which do include the presidential race. So as Palast explains, if you don't say the magic words, I want a Democratic crossover ballot, you are automatically given a ballot without the presidential race. Do you see how ridiculous that is? So basically, if you just say Democratic ballot, they're like, well, you can't get that because you're a no party preference. If you say Democratic crossover ballot and you need to say those magic words, then the poll worker has to give you that ballot that will have presidential on it. So basically, if you are no party preference, they do everything in their power to make sure you can't vote for president. And by the way, look at how complicated this is. Gavin Newsom will tell you that we can't have ranked choice voting because of how complicated it is. Yet we have stuff like this, where if you're registered no party preference, you may or may not get to vote for president, depending on how California feels. And if you want to vote for president, you have to say the magic words, which is Democratic crossover ballot. If you just say, hey, I want a Democratic ballot so I can vote for president, they're going to tell you they can't give you that. They're instructed to tell you, nope, can't do that. Wow. But ranked choice voting would be too complicated. A situation where we rank our choices, like where do I put my first choice? Do I put it at number 1 or do I put it last? You put it like first choice. Oh, this is complicated. Can you explain that again? Can't do ranked choice because it's too complicated. But California can do this. They can do this. All right, so let's see what else is going on here. By the way, this is a fantastic, very funny article by Lee. I don't want to just read the whole thing because I don't want to, I don't want to like spoil the punchlines. It's better to read it yourself. But he does a really nice summary here. So because of these intentional hurdles designed to stop independents from voting, millions of Californians will be handing something called a provisional ballot. So how do you explain a provisional ballot? You know when a little toddler has a ball and they go throw it and they cock their arm back and then the ball rolls out of their hand behind them and they end up throwing nothing but air, but they think they threw the ball so you can see them watching where the ball is going to land? That's a provisional ballot. It's a lot of buildup, but you didn't do shit because no one will ever count it. Great summary, Lee. And he's absolutely right. If you get a provisional ballot, your vote ain't going to be counted. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they're misinformed. I don't want to say they're lying to you because I don't think, someone who's working at the polls, someone who's a lot of times they're volunteering their time. If they are compensated, it's not a whole lot. I think a lot of those cases, those people are just trying to do a good deed. They're trying to do a good thing. I don't think they're, coming at you in any form of malice or they're, trying to trick you. I just think they're doing what they're trained to do. So I don't think that they're, trying to screw you or lie to you. I think they're just ill-informed. And that's just the reality of it. And they're not the bad guys. So, if you're handed a provisional ballot, don't take it out on the person that handed it to you. It's not their fault. It's the system's fault, not theirs. You know what I mean? That's just, you're barking at the wrong person. You know what I mean? So, but when you're handed a provisional ballot, your vote will not be tallied. The best thing you can do is document it. Turn your phone camera on immediately and document it. That's the best thing you can do. If I'm handed a provisional ballot, which I might be, who knows? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, hey, I don't get to vote. My vote's not going to be counted. And if they're like, it'll be counted, I'm like, okay, I don't believe you. It's okay. If you believe that's your choice, but you're wrong. That's just wrong. I'm sorry. It's wrong. But so a nice summary of all the ways here. If you're no party preference, they try to screw you. And if you don't know the magic words Democratic crossover ballot, you won't get to vote for president. A lot of people in California were tricked into joining a borderline neo-Nazi party. And they'll be giving you provisional ballots just randomly. And if you get one of those, your vote ain't going to be counted. Here's another way California really needs to beware. And this is especially important since we see how this app worked out. We're using machines that have never been tested before in an actual election. All of the beta testing that they've done in controlled studies, red flag after red flag, failed a bunch of times. You can see all the videos we've done on it on this show. We've covered it on this show before. It's failed miserably. They're using it anyway. At least in LA they are. So we're going to use these faulty machines. And you saw what happened when there was an app. And we don't even know all the players involved in these machines either. Much like the Iowa caucus app, they kept people in the dark about it. Why? Because if they didn't, Russia might be able to hack it. We can't tell you who's behind the app. Why? Because Russia might hack it. Oh, is that the real reason why? No, the real reason why is because there's a blatant conflict of interest with former party officials for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And Pete Buttigieg has a blatant conflict of interest here. And he's randomly going to do great in Iowa. And if you knew this ahead of time, it might draw some red flags. If everyone knew that ahead of time, that, gee, Pete Buttigieg, has a senior strategist married to one of the people who oversaw the company that later made this app. And he gave them over 40 grand. No other candidate gave anything remotely close to that. That seems a little fishy. That seems a little less than impartial, doesn't it? So those are all the red flags of California, and there are many. So California, we're coming up on Super Tuesday. And again, the best thing we can do is be on the ground with cameras on, with our ear to the ground. Do not be afraid to turn your camera on. And if they tell you to turn it off, keep it on. If they tell you to move and you're documenting something important, you don't move. If you're not documenting something important, that's different. You might just be in the way or something like that. But if you're documenting something important, don't move. Don't move. That's what we have to do, because honestly, they would have gotten away with Iowa scot-free if it wasn't for the independent media that was there. If it wasn't for, again, people like Tina Desiree, people like Fiorella Isabel, people like Savage Joy, people like Jordan Sheraton. If they weren't on the ground there. And I know there's a bunch of others that I don't even know about. And people with the campaign, I can't name everybody. I don't know everybody, but you get the point. If it wasn't for them, Iowa just would have went through uncritically. They stopped this from being even worse than it could have been. And this is just one state. We got 49 more. And they're going to try to cheat Bernie every opportunity they get. So get ready, California. Winter is coming. Right? That's a Game of Thrones reference. That's that show where everybody loved the ending. And the clip there, Joe, where I said ending. Do that. All right. So, guys, we have a little bit of cool news too. I didn't want this to be so heavy on like, hey, our pseudo democracy is even less than a pseudo democracy, and some of you have expressed, dude, let's not. Come on, let's do some other stuff. So, guys, this happened to me. So last night, I did something that's, I would say, out of character for me. I presented at an award show. Ron, we know you're not big on award show. You talked about that before. You're not a big award show guy at all. You don't watch them. You don't pay attention. But you presented at an award show. Explain. It was my friend's award show. My friend Chris Gore runs a wonderful film magazine called Film Thread. It's been around since the 90s. It's a legendary film magazine. It is currently in its digital form as a podcast and YouTube channel. And he does an award show. This is his second year doing it. It's called Award This. And he asked me to be part of it. He was like, would you be willing to present? And of course I said yes, because, he's my friend. And it's an award show that focuses on underrepresented films, independent films, documentaries, socially conscious documentaries, voices in the LGBTQ community. So a lot of film that goes under the radar. So that's pretty cool, man. If I'm going to present at an award show, I would like it to be an award show like that really looks out for underrepresented films and independent films, that doesn't always get their due diligence. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty cool. So I presented at this thing, and here's a little glimpse of it, which, by the way, it's going to be premiering as an event. We weren't able to live stream the event because that's pretty involved with tech stuff, but it's going to be premiering, I believe, today over on YouTube. Go to Film Threat over on YouTube, and you can check that out. You can see me present. So here's what they're saying. We're thrilled to bring a wealth of talent and beloved indie veterans center stage to honor true indies and writing Oscar snubs with the new award show, Award This, live from Los Angeles. It happened last night. So for the first time ever in my life, I got to do an actual red carpet walk, which I had no idea how you do one of those. I had no freaking clue. I've never done one in a formal sense before. I've done like there was this like indie music award show in Nashville, Tennessee that I went to. I attended as media because I had a radio show in Nashville at the time. This, of course, was back when I lived there. They had a kind of red carpet event, but it wasn't like a formal thing. This was like they had the line of photographers and stuff, and you have to go. If you're presenting, they're looking for you. Like your name's on a sheet of paper. I didn't know how any of that stuff worked. But my buddy Bill Dwyer, very funny comic Bill Dwyer, he was also presenting. And he's like, yeah, dude, you got to go up there. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, all the presenters are looking for you. And I was like, well, what do I do? Do I need there's pieces of paper over there. I noticed one of them had my name on it. And I'm like, do I take it and hand it? And he's like, no, just tell them. You don't have to like take it. Just say it and they'll grab it. And I was like, this is fancy. Okay. So he actually took me over. He's like, I don't know what your problem is, but you're Bill was, is this your first time doing something like this? And I could have said, yes. Yes, it is actually totally my first time doing something like this. So I was kind of clueless. Bill kind of led me over and he's like, presenter, Ron Placone. Now I was supposed to do that. I could have done that myself, but I guess in that moment I was, displaying a certain type of incompetence. Bill was like, no, you go over there. And I'm like, oh, do I take my thing? You don't take your thing. You just walk over there. You say your name. Can you not do that? I don't know, Bill. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can do that. So he took me over. So and you have to look, you take turns looking at all the camera. They show your name ahead of time. Like they put out the piece of paper that says your name. Then they introduce you. They're like, Ron Placone. And you're like, And then you stand there and they're like, this way, Mr. Placone. This way, this way. And I looked at all of them and I was like, I hope I don't look like an idiot. I just displayed the same smile the entire time. Some people, they made a different face for every photographer. Me, way less bold. I was like, I'm just going to stand here and smile. And when you tell me to look over, I'll do that. I'm a little insecure about my not photogenicness. I'm not a very photogenic guy. I only get headshots once every 5 years. And even that, not a big fan. Not a big fan of even doing that much. But anyway, so I did the red carpet event. Now, here's the kicker. So the epic voice guy, which you've heard the epic voice guy before. That's the person that'll tell you to silence your cell phones at a movie theater. That's the epic voice guy. There wasn't a host for this event. We were all just presenters. So there was no host introducing everybody or anything like that. There was just the voice of God, like they call it in the industry, that announced everybody. And who was the person announcing everybody? The actual epic voice guy himself. That's right. At this award show, the legit epic voice guy was doing all the introductions. And I was kind of excited. I was like, the epic voice guy is going to introduce me. The epic voice guy. You've definitely heard him in a movie theater. You know the epic voice guy. And I was real excited. He was going to say my name. So it's my turn. I'm waiting in the wings. I got my jokes prepared, which, yes, I did do a couple jokes. And I wrote them myself. Chris, my friend who is the creator of the award show, he gave me some written jokes. And he's like, hey, man, I wrote these. I just wrote placeholder jokes in a hurry. You're welcome to rewrite the script. In fact, I encourage you to do so. So I did. It's not that I disliked the jokes Chris wrote. I just thought, well, if I did something in my own voice, I think I might like it better, I suppose. And they went well, so I felt good. I got laughs, which I counted it as a stand-up set. But anyway, that's not important. So I'm waiting in the wings, got my jokes prepared, got the script, got my co-presenter with me, who was a director. He was a director for, I believe, a Star Trek series or like a Star Trek adjacent series. Cool guy. His name's James. And I'm getting ready in the wings, and I hear the voice of God. And they introduce the director first, and then they go, and here's a comedian you've seen on the Jimmy Dore Show, Ron Falcone. He said it Falcone, which it happens. But man, epic voice guy. That was my one and done moment. I don't know if there's going to be another scenario where the epic voice guy is going to say my name. Maybe I'll become friendly with him. His name's John. And I can be like, hey, man, can you like do an intro for my album? I'll pay you. And just say, it's Ron Placone. Please get ready to laugh at Ron Placone's album. But yeah, I was all ready to text my family and be like, hey, epic voice guy just said our name. Because here's the thing. There aren't many Placones in the world. We're all related. Placone's not a common name. We're all related. If you know somebody, they have the last name Placone, they're related to me. Even if we don't know each other, which most of us do because there aren't a lot of us. But even I have some distant cousin in San Diego that I've never met before. It'd be cool to meet her sometime. But yeah, we're totally related. Anyway, so Falcone, That's what the Epic Voice guy. That's how the Epic Voice guy interpreted my name. And I guess I'll always have that. I guess whenever I'm at a movie, I will have some story. I'll be able to say, hey, yeah, you know that guy that just told us to silence our cell phones? He would pronounce my last name Falcone. That's what he went with. Not his fault. People do it all the time. It happens. I don't take it personally. But yeah, I was all excited. I was going to text my fiance. I was like, neat moments. Got to do a red carpet thing. Pictures were taken. Was announced by the Epic Voice guy. Con, he said Falcone. Womp, womp, womp. Anyway, thought I'd share that story with you guys. And here's another kind of neat story. This was shared by Jack. Now, Jack said, Ron, I know we've been talking a lot about the election scandal, and that's putting it gently, what's going on. How about a cat story, man? It's the last stream of the week. How about we do like a cat story? Let's do a little bit of a feel-good something. And you know me. I always like a good cat story, especially to end the week. You know, it's the end of the week. We like to do something light. So let's pump the brakes a little bit on all the craziness that's going on this planet and see a nice cat story. So check this out. I haven't read this in advance. So I will say this, Jack. I don't like this headline. World's worst cat, it's in quotations, finally finds forever home after viral fame. First of all, I don't know how you could give anyone world's worst cat. Second of all, how do you designate a cat good or bad? I don't think that's very fair to do, but it's in quotes. So let's continue. World's worst cat finally finds forever home after viral fame. What's going on? This cat looks adorable. Perdita is the name. World's worst cat has found her forever. So maybe it's just all right. Her new name is Noelle. They renamed her Noelle. Both pretty names. Perdita, Noelle. She's adopted. Look how thrilled she looks that she's adopted. It's like, I'm adopted. And she's just like, yeah, I got new human slaves. I won. I got this. By the way, if you go over to my Instagram, there's a picture of Lucy. This morning, I was trying to make the bed. Lucy was in the corner of the bed. Actually, here's two things that I literally did this morning. I've done both these things this morning. And you're going to be like, wow, Ron, your cat's insanely spoiled. You're right. She is. I can't even try to dispute that. Like, it's to the point where I'm like, I probably shouldn't have children because I'd mess up big time. I would have this ridiculously spoiled child. I'd be really bad at it. Because so she was laying in the corner of the bed when I was trying to make it. So what did I do? I just didn't make that part of the bed. You can see that picture on my Instagram. I was just like, all right, you're comfortable. You can stay. It's cold out. I get it. It's a little cold for Southern California right now. You stay there, Lucy. Are you comfortable? That's great. And then a little while later, so my car was parked in a parking spot where I had to move it before 11 a.m. my time. So I set an alarm to remind myself, hey, you're in one of those spots where you got to move your car, you get a ticket. And they're militant about the tickets in my neighborhood. So I was like, all right, you got to remember to do that. The alarm went off, and I forgot the alarm was set because I ended up just moving my car earlier. I just did it as soon as I woke up. So I forgot that alarm was set. The alarm went off, and Lucy was still napping on the unmade part of the bed that she took a fancy to. And she was like, meow, kind of like, what the hell? That bothered me. And you know what I actually did? I said, sorry, Lucy, and turned the alarm off immediately. And I walked faster to turn the alarm off than I would have had she not me out. The fact that it was inconveniencing her for that brief moment, you know, because she's got places to be today. She's got business meetings later. It's not like she can't just make up the nap time whenever the hell she feels like it. The fact that that alarm disturbed her for a brief moment in her lounging, slumber-esque state, I got to turn this off immediately. That's me. That's the cat owner I am. When a rescue service posted a snarky ad touting the world's worst cat, some question if the sourpuss could ever find a forever home. See what they did there? I like it. Play on words. Forever. Well, naysayers should doubt no more. The finicky feline has been adopted. North Carolina's Mitchell County Animal Rescue went viral last month after running a hilarious Facebook advertisement for the adoption of Perdita, a.k.a. the world's first cat. World's worst cat. All right, so they said, we thought she was sick. Turns out she's just a jerk, the post read, adding that the grumpy cat hated everything from the color pink, kittens, dogs, children, the Dixie Chicks, Disney movies, Christmas, and last but not least, hugs. All right, so it was just a funny, play on things. I like that. That's adorable. All right. Amber Lowry, the shelter's executive director, told CNN, "We thought if we highlighted her personality in a humorous way, the person with a personality to match hers can adopt." That's awesome. They just saw a line of misanthropes around the block, like just the line of people that were. They had all these T-shirts like "Nihilism is great," like Holden was right. You're all a bunch of phonies, and yeah. Anyway, it worked like a charm. The shelter received more than 175 applications for Perdita. Mitchell County Animal Rescue finally settled on Joe and Betty, last names withheld, from Monroe County, Tennessee, who've changed her name to Noelle, just in case the name Perdita is the cause of her anger. Oh, they added she wouldn't let us take adoption photos in our photo booth. She just growled and ran out of the room. Look at how pissed off this cat looks. Oh, man. This is what Lucy looks like when I try to brush her teeth. I brush Lucy's teeth now, by the way. Yeah, you guys are like, Ron, you're ridiculous. You are the most ridiculous cat owner we've ever heard of. In fact, why are we calling you a cat owner? You are owned by a cat. I know that's a cliche. Oh, who owns who? But really, you prove that cliche right, Ron. I get it. I'm with you. That's what Lucy looks like when I try to brush her teeth anyway. Except, she's all black. She doesn't have any. She has a little white patch. So, but that is Lucy's look, which, by the way, I got to brush her teeth soon. Friendly reminder to myself. Thank you for sharing that, Jack. Shout out to Noelle and Joe and Betty. Glad Noelle found a home. And, if you're thinking of adopting a pet, I highly recommend it. Do it. We're talking about getting involved in your community. And, those are things that the oligarchy can't stop you from doing, trying to make your community a better place. And that's the only way we're ever going to see real revolution, because it has to happen one neighborhood at a time. Really, seriously, that's the only way. And, it can be as small as doing something at an animal shelter, volunteering, and adopting an animal if you are so able to. It's a fun thing to do. Guys, tour dates, I got them. Don't wait, get your tickets. First of all, tonight, if anyone's in the Southern California area, in my neighborhood, Pasadena, I am co-producing a new open mic in town at my favorite punk thrift shop, Meow Meows. So Meow Meows Pasadena at 7 p.m. tonight. We're going to be doing a comedy open mic. And if you want to watch that show, just in the audience, it's totally free to do so. So any of you who are in the Pasadena area, come by tonight at 7, hang out. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the performers are concerned. It's an open mic. That means anybody can sign up and perform. So if you don't like the comics that are there, I can't do anything about that. It's an open mic night. But I'm co-producing it. We're going to host it. We're going to make it fun. And that's happening tonight. This Saturday, Tucson, Arizona. Get your tickets. Don't wait. This Saturday. That's in 2 days. Tucson, Arizona. Ronplacone.com for those tickets. We'll see you Saturday night. San Francisco, February 29th. March 12th, Orlando, Florida. March 13th, Tampa, Florida. March 14th, Miami, Florida. April 9th, Concord University. See you in West Virginia. April 10th, I'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. April 24th, Seattle, Washington. April 25th, Portland, Oregon. That's the first third of the year. I almost said quarter. That's not right. It's the first third of the year. And the rest of the tour dates are already announced on ronplacone.com, with exception to Atlanta. Atlanta, we're still waiting on that ticket link from the Punchline where we were at last time. But Atlanta, we're coming. Just hold tight. June 21st, we will be in town. But in the meantime, we got tickets available for Indianapolis, Detroit, Cleveland, Louisville, Nashville, Chicago, Milwaukee, New York City, Boston, Mass, Portland, Maine, Burlington, Vermont, Madison, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Get your tickets. Do not wait. Ronplacone.com. If you want to support this show on a sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/Ronplacone for a give what you can level. And that is a give what you can level. The suggested tier is $5. But if you want to give less than that or more than that, you can. You just fill out the level where it says to give less or more than that, and you get all the same content no matter what level you give. No matter what you give, everyone gets all the same stuff. That includes a patrons-only stream once a week. That includes my album in its entirety for download. That includes stand-up clips not available anywhere else, exclusive videos. You get the idea. And what do you help me do? You help me expand this show. I want to continue my Sounds of Revolution series, and I want to make mini documentaries around city-owned internet. I'm really close to those goals, but I could use your help because I'm going to need to hire more camera people, more editors. You get the idea. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. All right. Dudist Priest, what's up? Thank you very much for your Super Chat contribution. Hey, Ron, sure happy it's Thursday. Make that your acronym. Just so you know, it's Dudeist. Tell the miserable liberal in Graham, please. What do they call you? What do they call you? I mean, it's obvious it's Dudist, right? What do they say? Anyway, I will let them know. You got it. Kathy Lloyd, we got this. Hashtag we got this. Thank you very much, Kathy Lloyd. Very much appreciated. Sparky, Paul Ryan didn't run for re-election, but his clone, Kevin McCarthy, was slotted to replace him as speaker, so Trump was glad Nancy became speaker. Okay. Sparky again, California will use absentee ballot mining too. Yes, they will. Absolutely. Big Baby Zubas, what's up, buddy? Hey, Ron, thanks for your vigilance. Feel the burn. Bad Mama Jamma, love the show, brother. I donate $5 a month to Jimmy and Graham. We'll get you soon. I really appreciate that, Bad Mama Jamma. Thank you. Here's $5 from my dog, Lucci, to your cat, Lucy. Lucy's United. Oh, it's actually Lucy. You just spell it with an I. Right on. I got you. Thank you very much, Bad Mama Jamma. And please give Lucy a big pet for me. Please give him a big pet. Take him on a nice walk. I love dogs too. I'm a definite animal lover. And big Balthazar, there's no way Tom will let his This is from Balthazar. Sorry, I almost skipped over the joke, Balthazar. I apologize for that. There's no way Tom will let him be his Perez dent. Balthazar, boom. I haven't seen you in a while, Balthazar. Hope you're well. Thanks so much for popping in today. So Joe and Jack, and I know a bunch of you guys tweeted me about what was going on with Tom Perez in Iowa this morning. Thank you so much for those tweets. Thank you so much for sharing that information. Jack, thank you so much for the cat story. Dudeist Priest, thank you very much. Kathy Lloyd, thank you very much. Sparky, thank you very much. Big Baby Zubas, thank you very much. Bad Mama Jamma, thank you very much. And Balthazar, thank you very much. We will be back on Monday for Music Monday, where we talk about all kinds of fun stuff, and music is included in those shows as well. A podcast drops tomorrow. Get Your News On with Ron wherever you get podcasts. If you want a summary of everything we talked about this week, it's in the podcast where we kind of take the best of. So check that out, the Get Your News On with Ron podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, you can get it. It drops tomorrow. And I'll see you all Monday. In the meantime, I'll see some of you in Tucson on Saturday. I can't wait for that. I'll see some of you in Tempe on Sunday, where I'll be with the Jimmy Dore Show. I can't wait for that. And I'll be back. Oh, actually, I'll be back Tuesday. Monday, I'll be traveling. So our next show will be on Tuesday. So we'll be back Tuesday. Monday's a travel day, so I won't have a live show then, but I will be back on Tuesday. And in the meantime, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.